We are seeing a beautiful sunset here in Santorini, Italia. And we're gonna have some aperitivo, some Negroni, and some Aperol spritz with the local travel expert, which is travel Italian style. I featured Cassandra before, and we're gonna view the amazing sunset, chat a little bit about Amalfi Coast and Sorrento, a little bit of pro tips, tell you a little bit about the history of aperitivo, and we are going to show you the beautiful views. And then we're gonna go live throughout the night, a few more places. So you join us for a beautiful night in Sorrento. So I'm here with amazing Cassandra. Cassandra, tell us, what do you do? What's your main thing?
So I am a travel planner. Yeah. So I create custom itineraries for those traveling to Italy. And we try to find unique experiences and assist with everything but the flight to and from their home country. So once you land on the ground in Italy, you have your ferry tickets, your train tickets, your tours, your tour guides, your drivers, but then of course the fun stuff.
Right.
Where to eat, drink, and plan.
You specialize in this area,
yes,
specifically.
I've been to all 20 regions of Italy, but I specialize in the Amalfi Coast and Sorrento because I started my career in tourism here, like over a decade ago. I used to lead groups, and here, starting in Sorrento to Pompeii, Capri. So I've been doing that I did that for about 4 years.
Oh, wonderful.
Before I started this.
And what brought you to this area? What do you really enjoy about this area, specifically?
The weather, the alice, the fish.
Yeah, the fish, okay.
The fish. No, I love the people. The weather's pretty consistent from June to October, and I'm originally from Sicily, so my family's from Sicily, and even though I don't know, there's a lot of things that remind me of the culture of Sicily here. Yeah. On the Amalfi Coast in Sorrento. It's a really strange, and my last name is very common, so
it is, okay.
Yeah, so all the
Santoro.
Santoro, so I guess it's not a coincidence.
Where's your family originally from in Italy?
In Palermo and Canicetti, two different parts of Sicily.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, but you still kind of associate with Southern Italian culture.
Yeah, it's very similar in all. The only thing that changes is a few of the dishes and traditions, but essentially, we all have great beaches, pastries, food, sites, as you know, history. And
we'll talk a little bit more about those differences. So let's try first the drinks. We are having what's called aperitivo. Mm-hmm. And aperitivo comes from Milan. But we were chatting how a lot of things are up to debate here in Italy when it comes to the local legends of where things come from.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
You can't say it too loud. But I'm having a Negroni. What are you having right now?
I'm having an Aperol spritz, which is pretty common now, even in the States, right?
Now it's becoming more common having aperitivos, but it's only very recent that people started drinking Aperol spritz. Yeah.
Here it's pretty common and cheap.
And we don't combine this in Italy, never with the food.
I mean,
not a strict never, but that's like a gastronomic taboo.
Exactly. But,
cheers.
So that's why we're gonna have. Salud. That's why we don't have any food.
Mm-hmm. This is a more bare bones aperitivo. We're having some chips.
That's because we have some good dinner coming up anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So aperitivo, the point of it is to open up the appetite, so you can enjoy the food that's going to come later. Exactly. So we're going to keep on chatting. I'm going to show you the beautiful sunset because it's already sunny. The sun is setting. So you said something about the haziness. Yeah.
Yes, the scirocco, and that's another thing I don't say perfect because of my accent, but it's the, as we discussed, the wind coming up from Africa that leaves the haze, and sometimes some dust, and very warm weather and very warm winds. So when you walk around town, everyone says, "Don't worry, it's a scirocco." Like you say it so if I'm like, "Oh, it's so hot." They're like, "It'll pass soon."
Because it doesn't get too hot in the evening.
Yeah, usually, we have hot days, but pretty cool evenings, and the sunsets can be very clear here. I mean, you could see it going down, but you could usually see the sun set over Ischia, behind Ischia, I should say. But it's so hazy that you can't see that far right now. And then I always look for, I'm sure you know this term, the green flash.
Yeah, yeah, because that's mentioned in The Great Gatsby.
Real? Oh yeah, that's
where,
right.
Where Jay Gatsby sees the green flash from his ex-lover's mansion across the bay. Yeah. So what is the green flash?
It's the I mean the term, the actual terminology you probably know better than me, but it's like the moment that the sun hits the ground and it makes like the way the light hits.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Like
I think so. Yeah. I
yeah,
think
the
so.
way the light hits. But I actually learned about it in Florida, which is funny enough because I lived on Sanibel Island and worked at a resort for a summer, and they would say when it hits at a certain point, every once in a while it'll make a boom. The guy used to tell me, the cute man that lived downstairs from me, the cute older gentleman, and he used to say, look for the boom, but not everybody can see it. So if you could see the green flash, you're very special, he used to tell me.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I've seen it here. Oh, sorry. I've
cool.
seen it here, and I've also seen it in Ischia
Yeah.
a lot too.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Because a little tip
Yeah.
is the Amalfi Coast, which I'm sure you realize today, there's only certain places you can watch the sunset.
Wait, what do you mean? Where?
Because this is mountains.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget the Amalfi Coast is.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey.
Fine.
Yes. We are. Yeah.
I like that, but
Oh,
it costs
thank-
a lot of money.
Got a lot of money. So the green. Now we're talking about the mountains. So the Amalfi Coast is it's mountains into the sea,
Right.
and a lot of people don't realize that when they come here.
Yes.
I mean, look at it. This is mountains. This right here is a mountain, right? So when you think about the landscape, the sun goes behind the mountain in certain parts of the coast. So you'll never see a sunset in Positano, Amalfi,
Oh, you can't see in Positano.
and parts of Capri.
Oh, interesting. So Sorrento is one of the few places in this area that you can see the sunset.
Yep, Sorrento, Praiano, and then one special part of Capri. It's on the other side on Ana Capri, which is technically above. But on Ana Capri, you can see the sunset, but on Capri, you can't. It's crazy, like little.
Oh, fascinating.
But it's funny to think about, right? When you
Yeah.
come to a tropical place and you're like, oh, watch the sunset. And I'm like, oh, you can't do that as a traveler.
Yeah. It's sometimes in certain locations we take it for granted that we can see the sunset, like in New York or Santorini or a few other places.
Yeah.
What's the most breathtaking sunset you've seen in Italy?
I have to say, and I'm not just saying that because we're here now, but definitely in Sorrento here. Or I have to say the second best after Sorrento, there's a bar in Praiano.
Yeah.
This is a big travel tip. It's a very hidden bar called Cafe Merante. And it's literally a tropical bar that's half the size of where we are now with like 10 tables, owned by a young guy, local guy. And he just has like this little outline and you see directly to Capri and
you
the
do?
Faraglione. And it's spectacular. And the sunset's there and it's unbelievable.
Oh, that's wonderful. Let me say hi to people before we continue. Skyscraper Junkie says, your guest is beautiful. Love Italian women.
Grazie.
Rosalind says hi. Hello, Susie. Nice to see you here. Lucy from Ontario, Canada. George says, how romantic. This is the romance capital of the world, right?
That's what they say. They say.
Right. No, a lot of honeymoons here. Do you encounter a lot of clients who are on honeymoon?
Yes, honeymoon and baby moons.
Baby moons, interesting. Okay.
Technically a second honeymoon.
My own parents came here on honeymoon.
They did?
Yeah, they did.
Where did
yeah.
they go?
They went to Sorrento and like one other place in Italy, but then they continued into other parts of Europe.
That's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
So you encounter that a lot. What do you usually recommend for honeymooners?
A honeymoon, first of all, we still try to mix in a few sites like Pompeii because you're here.
Yeah.
But more,
these views, yeah.
there are some really great beach clubs that are a little bit exclusive, boat rides to take you to places where you can only access by boat for lunch and dinner and things like that. There's some spectacular, I don't want to say they're all Michelin rated, but restaurants along the coast, of course, but also mostly doing a mix of like also trying new things while they're here, because a lot of times they're still in Italy, so honeymooners want to cook or drink wine, but finding like always combining something. Like if you're doing a cooking class, maybe it's on Capri,
Oh, interesting.
And they make the typical ravioli caprese, but in a garden of my friend. And then they get to have this private dinner after. So I try to mix up so they're still doing the traditional Italian things that you're here, but you're still relaxing.
And if I'm correct, we did a video with the Capri, people from Capri, right?
Oh yeah, in New York you're talking
New
about.
York, yeah,
So
yeah.
what we did the Torino people, which I'm going blank.
Yeah, La Gran Café.
Grazie. Sorry, no, don't get
The
offended.
Martini, yeah.
I'm like where are we? Where are we right now?
One of the best coffee shops ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Susie asked, where would I go for honeymoon? Okay, this is a little bit personal for me, but I'm actually literally going on this trip to everywhere where I would go on honeymoon.
Oh really?
So I went to Santorini, where I
Wow.
would go on honeymoon.
Cool.
Then I went to Rome. The Piazza Navona is one place I envision myself
wow.
going on a honeymoon. And then here, Positano. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah. It's like personally, it's a honeymoon tour, but I think in terms of content, showing one of the most romantic places. I think it's definitely like a fun way to share with the world. Like it's something interesting.
Yeah, and I want to. It's on that note. I
Yeah.
am a solo traveler, and I've been for 6 years. So I do 6 months in New York, 6 months here, as you know. But I haven't. Like I feel great in all places. I never feel uncomfortable. So if anybody's
Yeah,
a solo
yeah.
traveler too, I mean, I'm sure you can back me up on that. I don't ever feel uncomfortable here. I feel like there's such a mix.
No.
You know, romantic, and you have your exclusivity if you're on your honeymoon, but you also can enjoy the same things without anybody like like looking. You know?
Well, being here, you definitely do see a lot of people like romantically going out.
Yeah.
It's very obvious.
Italian culture in general. Italian. You know.
And even the locals, yeah, you're right.
It's
The locals
Italian.
and the foreigners as well. Because, when you go to other cities, like in New York or London, there's more solo travelers.
True.
Yeah.
No, it's. I mean, exactly. I mean, it is like this even in Florence, like in some of the cities.
Which I'm going next.
It's fine. Maybe you should do the ride. It's fairly new in
Yeah.
recent years on
Let me show this way.
on the Ponte Vecchio. They
Yeah.
have like a gondola ride now. You can do on the Ponte Vecchio.
Hey, that's really interesting to know, says Susie. Don't forget Las Vegas. Las Vegas, I probably wouldn't go to Las Vegas, but it is an interesting city, for sure. Where would you go on honeymoon if you were to choose anywhere in Italy?
Oh gosh. I think I would go. Maybe Panarea. Maybe some of like the islands off of Sicily.
Oh,
Like
fascinating.
Favignana. It's not fancy at all, so it's so weird. Like, but
Well, because sometimes it's better to have places that are a little bit more private, a little bit more calmer. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe I would do when I come back here. I would do something like stay at one of the 5-star hotels, like Hotel Santa Caterina in Amalfi, just for like a night or something. But I think I would like these islands, like laid
cool.
back.
And I got an interesting question going to Positano. It's very crowded. And we're not even peak.
Joe, this is the owner. Paula, we're on a live video. You want to say hi to this? This is Paula. Oh, she's the owner
I'm
of
Ariel.
this place. Ariel,
Nice
sorry.
to meet
Nice to meet you,
Paula.
Nice to see you.
How are you?
Everything's great. Everything's great today. Sì, tutto bene, grazie.
Day and night.
Sì, tutto il giorno io sono qui. All day I was here. She
All
saw
day.
me a few hours ago.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And anche domenica.
Ok, anche domenica. If you send me a message, that for you.
Ok,
Ok, I will.
ok.
Ok, le mie amiche, hai visto che
Sì,
simpatica?
benissima, simpatica, sì.
Mi fa piacere.
Noi siamo amici ora.
Ok, bello, così se ti metto in coppia.
Perfetto.
Ok,
Wonderful.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. I really was literally here all day.
Yeah. Oh, you were? Okay.
Sorry. So, so it's really laid back, and I know we were talking about the honeymoon, but I lost track after that. Oh no, Positano. You said
Okay,
it was busy.
so Positano gets very busy, and we're not even peak tourist season because do the Chinese also travel here so far?
No.
They're going to Rome, but are they going here?
We haven't seen any.
Okay.
We're still with the tourism groups, it's still pretty minimal.
No, I mean before the
Oh,
pandemic.
before, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. They do. Typically, the Japanese and the Chinese groups will do Capri, Positano, and Pompeii in one day.
Oh, one day, okay, yeah, with the huge tourist buses.
Yeah, like
okay.
it's pretty common.
So it'd be really packed, more than I experienced today.
Yes, like they were having an over-tourism problem before the pandemic.
So where would someone go here in the Amalfi Coast and / Sorrento to experience something a little bit more calmer?
Okay, so I would say this is a very tough question, and I'm going to say one thing first, because a lot of people, it's very important to know that you do not want to go in the off season here.
Yeah.
So I want to point that out before I say anything.
Wait, why not?
Because things will close. Like these beach clubs get broken down.
Okay.
Like they literally won't be here anymore.
Oh no. Okay.
I mean, here in Sorrento they might be for the most part because they're in rocks.
This is beaches right here. Yeah, they're literally beaches.
Yeah, so it's like, and they, we can get bad weather
Yeah.
in the winter here. So they're really only open from Easter to October, to mid-October. So one thing, sometimes when people say, let's avoid the crowds, I'll go in the off-season, I'm like, ooh. I don't know what, in Positano, everything closes, everything.
Okay.
Literally not one restaurant will stay open.
Oh wow. Okay.
So after that, I would say, if it's the high season.
So no winter travel to
Please,
Positano.
I have to tell people this a lot, and it's not, and I understand the theory, but if you're a hiker
So you're
or a
better off.
biker.
Sorry to interrupt, but you're
Yeah.
better off going to like Naples. During,
Exactly, or Florence or Rome, anywhere that's a city. Any coastal city in Italy will close for those after that.
Okay.
But when you come here, I think you can stay. I always say to people, I don't want to take away your dream. So if your dream is to stay in Positano, you may want to stay in a really nice hotel in the high season, or the opposite, if you stay 1,000 steps up. And take the bus or get a private driver or walk down, and you'll have your quiet, because there are some really great bed and breakfasts like all the way at the top of the 1,000 steps.
Really, all the way towards the top of the mountain.
Yeah, about 1,200 steps up.
Oh my God. Okay.
And but I would say I like to stay because I live here.
Yeah.
But some great alternatives. Amalfi, because Amalfi has hotels on the outskirts of the city and above, but not as many steps as Positano to get down. Like you can take an elevator down on one of them. Sorrento is busy, but if you don't want to stay in the city center, there is Massa Lubrense, but you have to be able to, again, take a bus or have a car to get around. But if you have access to a private boat or things like that, Massa Lubrense is fantastic area, like Nerano, because it's more just beach and relax. It's a tough question. I mean, I
And how about the town of Amalfi?
Yeah, I would probably say Amalfi, also Atrani, but Atrani has more bed and breakfast, Airbnbs.
Right.
So if you're staying in Airbnb, Atrani is amazing.
Oh, cool.
It's the smallest fishing village in all of Italy.
Oh yeah.
It's where I usually live.
People are still trying to keep it a secret.
Yeah, so basically that's where I typically live.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen beautiful pictures of it. And I've just always been obsessed with it since 2015. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I've seen it grow over recent years. But the funny thing is, people don't know it's there because it's just on the other side of Amalfi. But it's like, it's because the mountains here, and they don't see it. And I'm like but again, okay. So let me summarize for you because I know I'm all over the place, but I'm getting excited. So
So you can see all of this on Travel Italian Style because you have a lot of videos saved and also Instagram stories and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I save a lot. We have a hashtag called Amalfi Coast Locals.
Oh, cool.
And it shows like some things to places to stay, places to eat, places I like to go.
Okay, so the summary.
Okay, the summary.
Yeah.
If you're going to stay in Airbnb at Trani, it's this fishing village on the other side of Amalfi. If you want to stay in a hotel and you want it to be in the high season, there are hotels in Amalfi, and Amalfi gets crowded in the day, but at night it's pretty nice, so it's not so overwhelming like Positano.
Right.
But if you really want to stay in Positano because it's your dream, the two things is if you're bed and breakfast budget, look for one that it's a little bit higher up if you don't mind steps. If you do not want steps, then if you have the budget, maybe splurge on a nice hotel. Because then you can have a little bit of privacy during the crowded times.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and does that seem fair?
That does seem fair. And then for a budget, it seems like Sorrento is the best place for a budget.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because you have bed and breakfasts, Airbnbs, and really nice, like, budget-friendly hotels here too.
And then you can take the ferry or the buses to a few of the stops.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I'm here this year, because it's a crazy year, and I said I needed a place that was consistently had a train, a bus, or a ferry.
Oh, okay. It's because you usually stay in the fishing village.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they don't have that there.
That's impressive. So how do you do your work then?
Well, so during normal times, there is a bus stop and a ferry in Amalfi, and it works out pretty well. But with COVID, it's just been tougher. So I said, you know what, I'm going to stay in Sorrento because you have the Circumciviana.
You have the bus.
Over, so.
Pardon me, there's sound issues.
Is it me? Did I hit?
No, it's not you. It's sometimes this mic goes all robotic for some reason. There's like interference. Is this an episode of Doctor Who? No, it's not an episode of Doctor Who. Let us know if the sound is better. Still. Oh no. So weird. Oh no. Alright everyone, let us know if the sound is better. That sucks.
Bad. Now it got fixed. Okay, so got it? That's working? Nope.
No. We'll just put it a little bit closer to us. Okay, so what were you saying?
Is it? How is the sound now? Not so much of it.
No, that so sucks. What happened there? Alright, pass me.
Yeah, sure.
We'll just do it with Sans microphone. Maybe it'll fix on our next stop. But okay, so what were you saying?
Yeah, so it's Sorrento's. It's budget friendly, and it's also great for getting around to the rest of the Amalfi Coast. Also Pompeii, Herculaneum, Naples. You can get to all those stops right from here.
Yeah, and then the super budget option would be staying in Naples, and you can still get to a few of these places.
Yes, I love Naples.
Yeah.
But you just stay in the right neighborhood. You know.
right, because it can get very hectic.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big city, so
it's a big city.
That's my travel plan. I'm coming out.
All right, everyone. We're going to stick around for about 5 more minutes. If you have any questions for Cassandra, who's a travel expert of the local area, do let us know. And so sorry about the sound. Sometimes these things are out of my control. I have no idea what happened. Maybe it's because they're using music with wireless speakers. That might be the issue. But do let us know if you have any questions whatsoever for Cassandra. I'll keep showing you the views, and we're going to go to a few other spots later on. We might do a short walk, and then we're going to go to food. So stay tuned for that. Hey, Kenya. Wow, much better. That's awesome. This is really like an amazing view.
Isn't it?
Truly.
Sometimes I say to my friends, like, we take this for granted. I see this every day, you know? That's
Right.
why it's nice to have visitors, too.
Blue Sea says, where are you now? Can you orient everyone where we are in Italy and then where we are in Sorrento?
Yeah, sure. So we are in Italy. We are about 3 hours south via car, or 1 hour and 10 minutes via south of Rome. Well, I'd say like that's Naples. So let's say like 4 hours south of Rome. We are I'm trying to think of it like cities. I'm trying to right. Is that good?
Yeah, because you can get to Rome to Naples in about an hour and 10 minutes.
It'd be a train.
And then
3 hours.
about 1 more hour on the Vesuvius.
Exactly.
Playing it safe because that's a very slow train.
if it's a good day. Even though there's there's an express train, but it's slower. It's crazy. It's like New York, right?
Right.
It's like what happened? So yes, so we're considered southern Italy, and our closest big city is Naples. In Sorrento, we are literally in the main center at the main beach area. This is the Lidos, the beach club here. We can take an elevator up, and you're literally, I'd say 5 minutes from Piazza Tasso, which is the main center of the whole city.
Right.
And from here, on a good ferry, it's 45 minutes to Positano, 45 minutes to Capri. Oh no, sorry, an hour and 20 minutes to Positano, 45 minutes to Capri on a good ferry. To give you an idea.
Right, that ferry ride was quite long.
Did you take NLG? Did you take
I did.
I think
It was an hour.
Oh, it was an hour.
Hour and 10 minutes.
Okay, so that's right, yeah. The one I didn't want you to take is 2 hours and 30 minutes. I made the mistake. Can you believe it? I'm a travel planner and I was rushing and I bought the ticket and I wasn't paying attention. That was 2.5 hours and I get motion sickness.
So we'll rapid fire a few more questions. John Cahill asked, Ravello, is it worth it? Ravello.
Yes, absolutely. Ravello, you must. Cassandra at a C.
Cassandra with the C, right, yeah. Cassandra with the C, and it's travel Italian style on Instagram. If anyone can put it down, do let us know.
So Ravello is absolutely worth it. They do an amazing music festival in summer in Village Imbrone. So you have to, Villa Ruffalo, sorry, I'm like confusing all my villas here. And you absolutely should visit. The only thing I'd like to say and point out, it depends, staying there, it's not on the sea. So it's a beautiful place to visit, but if you don't want to stay on the sea, like you said you're not crazy about swimming. So this could be a beautiful place because it has fantastic views. It's right above like the Amalfi-Trani area.
Oh,
so it's literally above it.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely amazing. I recommend it. You need to visit all the villas, just if you're going to stay there, consider that maybe it's not on the beach.
Is it a day trip? Is it
a day trip?
doable to do as a day trip? Okay.
Especially from Amalfi, because you can take a bus right there.
Okay.
Quick.
And then Alicine asked, "What's a must-eat in Sorrento?"
So,
I keep mixing up because they're so similar in
and I know how
in
much
name.
you love Santorini too.
They're so similar in name and also in vibe as well.
It's good to. I'll tell you later. I'm supposed to maybe go there in October, so I can talk to you later. So the must-eat in Sorrento. So I'll give you 3 quick things. For the pasta, we have a typical pasta called gnocchi sorrentino, alla sorrentino.
Yeah.
So it's a gnocchi, potato pasta with melted mozzarella and tomato sauce on it.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so that's delicious. And then for me, I cannot eat shellfish. I'm allergic. So in this whole area, Sorrento and the Amalfi Coast, they're very famous for. So it's called a liche, but in English it's either like half sardine, half anchovy, but it's the white sardines. In my eyes, they told me it's not a sardine, it's an anchovy, but it's delicious. You can get them fried, or you can get them marinated, and you can see it a lot in the fishing village. Maybe we'll walk to later. And then the last thing would be delizia al limone, which maybe we could try later too, is a typical lemon cake dessert.
Okay, I definitely want to try that.
Yeah.
I want to eat all the lemons.
There's many different kinds, so we can definitely do that.
And a lot of people say no lemons on pizza, but there is some lemon zest on the type of pizza, right?
I mean, you can get the gourmet. I'm more of a simple margarita girl.
Right, of course.
No, but I think that if you have go to a gourmet pizza place, they could do a white pizza with lemons or something. But I think people eat lemons like apples here.
And then there's the spaghetti alla limone.
There's spaghetti al limone, which is very popular. Also spaghetti alla vongole, if you like mussels. You can get crazy. I know we're talking about lemons, but now I'm talking about spaghetti. So you got me started.
now I'm hungry. the aperitivo is working. Our appetites are opening up.
I'm definitely going to eat my whole pizza. I'm getting a pizza, I already know.
All right, let's answer a few more questions. Someone earlier asked scuba diving. Is there any here?
Yes, so scuba diving, there's 2 main places. I mentioned the area before, but just to kind of give you some context. So the area around Massalupa and Zegnerano, there's an area called Punta Campanella, which is a pretty famous hike as well, which is absolutely fantastic, one of my favorite. And that area, there's diving. There's actually diving schools.
Oh, there is?
And
Okay.
diving protection things. And then also in Naples, in an area called Baccoli. So Naples or in Sorrento is probably the most popular diving.
Gary says, can you pick the winning numbers for the Euro lottery so he can come over here?
Do we get to split it if possible? Because I'm trying to buy a villa.
Gary, I think you're in the UK, so I don't think you qualify. Breakfast. George says I ate pancakes for breakfast, but a lot of people just can't fathom the idea that there's not a savory breakfast in Italy. What do you recommend for someone? What do you recommend them to immediately kind of immerse themselves in Italian breakfast? What should be? And then B, if they really are hungry for that other type of savory breakfast, what should they consider?
Okay, so all right. So for a long time, I resisted the Italian breakfast, and now even in New York, I'm a cornetto and espresso person. I even have an article in La Cucina Italiana about it. They even interviewed me about my breakfast. Yeah. This is not an exaggeration. Well, all my food in general. But that's what I specifically talk about, and the journalist was laughing because she was like, really? I'm like, I'm obsessed. So listen, I understand it's not fulfilling, but if you're coming here and you want to immerse, the way I can convince you is it's such a fun experience to go to the bar and get a cornetto or a typical pastry. It's also a good time to try it because a lot of times we get really full after lunch and dinner. So it's a nice time to try the typical pastries or local cornetto in the morning.
Right, you won't have the experience. You won't have the time to try other pastries throughout the day
because if you're eating
there's a lot of bread in the rest of the Italian cuisine. Yeah, a lot of pasta.
Pizza, you get full and then you miss out. But if you really want, a savory, you can find places now that will offer some sort of continental breakfast, like pubs and things. But another thing is like a frittata, which it's universal. But
Frittata, really? Oh, that exists here.
Yeah, you can get that. They even do spaghetti here in the Naples area. They fry up old spaghetti, and you can eat that for breakfast or lunch or brunch, and they make it to a pie, like a spaghetti pie.
Oh, that's what she's. Christina asked what restaurant we're in, or this is more so a bar. So let me show you around.
So we are in one of the beach clubs called Peter's Beach. It's a family-run beach club, and you can stay at one of the chairs. This is where I usually come.
Yeah.
You can rent one for the day.
Oh, cool.
Because it's more common here to go to rent. You don't really have free beaches. You go and you rent a chair for the day. And you can actually eat a plate of pasta on your chair if you want, or you can eat right here. So it's called Peter's Beach.
Nothing beats a big plate of pasta while sweating under the hot sun. Filled
We
with
always
sand.
take a dip first. So here's the thing: there's no sand. That's amazing.
There is no sand, right?
Because you jump in from these steps.
Let's show it.
So you go in from the steps.
Italians don't like sand. No.
My Italian friends couldn't have sandy feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is in the main area where you can. So if you're in the city center of Sorrento, in where the comune is, so just to give some context, you could take the elevator down and you can come to this area where there's different beach clubs in the day, and some of them stay open for the evening for drinks, and then they close a little bit after dark. Yeah.
And that's one thing I wanted to point out is Sorrento is way more accessible than the Greek islands. I love the Greek islands, but this is super accessible. Like there's elevators, there's good roads, there's a bus system. Some of the buses are indeed accessible. So
Yes.
with people with mobility issues, where do you recommend them to stay?
Absolutely. Anybody with mobility issues or anybody that has issues walking or back or knee, absolutely Sorrento, because also Amalfi is a second choice if you really want to stay on the Amalfi Coast, but they are flat. Every other town in the area is going to be steps.
Yeah,
It's really hard to get around it, and then not a lot of accessibility, unfortunately.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely. In Sorrento, I would say as close to the main piazza as possible, just because you have the elevators here, and you can get easily to the bus and the train, But again, we also have drivers. We also have drivers and minibuses that can pick up anybody that needs direct transport as well. So it's easy because they can get to you.
Oh, very cool.
And not into the restricted zone.
Right.
Which is important.
All right, let's answer a few more questions. We'll answer 4 more questions as we show you the beautiful. Oh my God, the views just keep getting better. This is really cool. And I love the almost Art Deco type of style that they have in these gigantic hotels?
Yeah.
Because this became very popular like in the 60s, right?
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people, and I haven't been this year, which is crazy, but the Park of Green Chibi, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's
Yeah.
a famous architect. So you have to look into that.
What's his name?
That's something I should know. No, I'm not really. I have to admit to everybody. So I've been to all 20 regions, but I work with 200 guides.
Yeah, that's cool. You, including one that overlaps with Rick Steves.
Yes.
That's famous, right?
Yeah.
He's well known in this area.
Yeah,
Vincenzo.
yeah, exactly. Everyone's a Vincenzo. But yeah, he works side by side with Steves as well in some of the tours.
And he's appeared in a few of the videos or the documentaries with them.
Yes, absolutely. And then, you know, he's on mine, but I'm not, you know, Rick's our mentor, you know. But yeah, so this is interesting things. There's a few important architects here actually, because we have a hotel, Minervetta, which there's an architect there that is famous for doing a few of the beach clubs and stores around here. So later I'll have to find them and then.
We got 3 more questions. Alicine says you're quite educated in information and very good.
Oh, thank you.
Is the Loch Ness monster? Is there a monster legend in this area of Italy?
No, and absolutely you need to swim because you can swim with the fishes here. It feels like a pool. I mean, no Loch Ness.
And is it hot weather here? It really gets hot here in August.
Oh yeah, I mean it was almost 40 Celsius today. So.
But there is shade. This does offer more shade than I encountered in Greece.
Yeah, and
for
you know
example,
what? Like you take a dip and you come out of the water, it's so close, you know?
Right. Don't forget the pizza with extra anchovies. Everything has anchovies here in Italy during the summer. She's drinking Campari soda. No, Aperol Spritz. Where are we in Sorrento? We're in Sorrento right now. An hour and a half away from Positano. What's Cassandra drinking? Aperol Spritz. So tell everyone what the Aperol Spritz is.
Yeah, sure. So Aperol Spritz is Aperol, which is a bear. That's the red stuff in here. And then a little bit of Prosecco, and then Prosecco and a little bit of club soda with an orange. And it's very light, and it's again what you've spoken about. It opens up, you know, the stomach for dinner.
Which is the most Italian thing I've heard is you have to eat more to want to eat more later.
Yeah, I mean that's why we just keep drinking digestive.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's see if there's any other awesome questions. Feel free to ask any last remaining questions. It's Cassandra. Oh yeah. What? Tell us your background because do you have Italian citizenship?
I do.
You do.
Citizenship.
Yeah. So tell us your background because, of course, obviously, you speak with a perfect New York accent, and then you also know perfect Italian.
Perfect Italian stretching. No, that's not exactly. I actually never learned. So basically, I grew up Italian.
Italian's also very modest. I've noticed.
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, what's wonderful here is that you don't hear it often.
Right.
So that, as you know, the Italian language comes from Florence. And so here it's a little bit more dialect, laid back Italian. So when I speak, they're very, very good with me. But I didn't learn Italian until probably like in the last 10 years when I started coming here. So
Wow, so recent.
yeah, and I never took a lesson.
Okay.
Maybe like 2 weeks in my life when I was doing an internship, I had to.
Do you speak at home?
No. So both my grandparents on my father's side came from Italy.
Okay.
Barely spoke English. They were not, as many of you might relate to, as Italian Americans, they were kind of made fun of not to speak Italian in New York. So we were taught never to speak Italian. My father never spoke with us. My dad understood everything, but never spoke Italian after he hit a certain age. So my father passed away very young, and when he passed away, it's soon after my grandpa passed away, and so me and my nonna decided to do some research on our family history. I got my dual citizenship. I decided to move abroad and work here, and then the rest is history. So I've been doing that for about, now it's a total, oh my gosh, it was like 13 years.
Oh wow, that's epic.
Yeah, so it was just kind of by accident, it wasn't planned. But now everything makes sense from my childhood. Like, I used to drink espresso and affogato with espresso with gelato.
Lauren says, can you show yourselves? the view is way prettier. No. We'll be showing you a different live video. Stay tuned, and we'll answer one more question, which is any tips for solo female travelers?
Yes.
Ask Lucy.
Sure. So I would say if you're a solo traveler
Yeah.
in Italy, you do not have to be nervous, but you also have to be aware, like anywhere in the world. I would stay, if for example, if you're coming to a place like Amalfi Coast, I would stay in a place like Sorrento or Amalfi, a main city. Not just because of the steps, but more because the access to all the public transport that's safe, access to do things where they're used to having women sit at a table, like at a bar or restaurant, and things alone.
Wait, so very old culture Italy still kind of survives where...
I mean, I think we briefly talked about before the live, like in places like Milan and Florence, that's pretty common. But here, I found, also it could be the romance of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not intimidating, but I personally enjoy myself in Amalfi because there's different options, or Sorrento. I would just say also the last thing is, Vincenzo always tells me this, and I'm kind of like, I'll get in a car and go anywhere with anybody because I like to meet people. But just before booking a guide, a hiking guide, a tour guide, and going to a desolate place, I hope that's okay to say, but I want to just be, think about things like that before you book certain tour guides. Try to go, stay in the city center if you're intimidated at all. Is that
Yeah, that's a good one. And then is it okay to walk around at night?
Yes.
As a solo female traveler?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I would say that even I've lived in Naples and I felt safe.
Okay.
I would just say, like, anywhere in the world, do not put on your Rolex or your Louis Vuitton bag.
So speaking of which, oh my god, LOL says, are you wearing Dolce & Gabbana?
It's an imitation. I bought it at the market.
Shh, we won't tell anyone at all. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Cassandra, where can people find more of your work?
So, travelitalianstyle.com or at travelitalianstyle on Instagram or traveling Italian style on Facebook.
And if people are trying to plan their trip over here, you're the person to contact.
Yeah, I'm here, and I'm here. I'm here. I'm planning every
She's
day,
literally
so.
here. Drinking aperitivo, waiting for you. So if you're coming over in the near future, do contact Cassandra. She has amazing knowledge of the entire coastline and awesome pro tips and awesome secrets that you might not even know about, which we might encounter a little bit later in the night. I'm Ariel. This is Urbanist. Thank you so much for watching. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. And let's do a wave goodbye. Bye-bye, everyone.
My manicure is smart.